Welcome to episode 8 of Tal'dorei Fields of Wonder. This is a fun game that we like to play, and we like to have you here with us, watching us play and interacting with us on chat. Before we get into things, let's do a quick round of introductions. Rain, who are you, and where can we find you?
I am Rain, and you can find me on Instagram and on TikTok for all of my cosplaying and mermaid adventures, Virgo_Rain. And tonight I will be playing Big Mama Mocha, Circle of the Swamp Druid.
Fantastic. I almost called you Patrick. Sorry, Smitty.
Who dat?
Yo, Smitty playing second Kenku Life Cleric. That's what's up.
And where can we find you?
As of about an hour ago, nowhere.
Actually, that's not true. You can find Smitty on our Discord.
That was a segue. Nicely done, Bill.
Which I just posted in the chat. For those of you that would like to chat with Smitty, please join us inside the Discord.
I just left the Discord, but really excited for all of you.
Oh, man, that's great.
Smitty has left the chat.
Oh, it's so good.
And Alex, how about you?
Hello, everybody. My name is Alex or Ziva. I'll be playing Hosen Sunhelm, the Rune Knight fighter rogue. Totally forgot what my subclass was, my multi-class. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram under Ziva RPG. You can find me there. And so excited to be here.
All right. And Jacob, how about you?
What's up, everybody? My name is Jacob Plick, Duval King Jacob on the Twitters and Instas. I use he, him pronouns. And tonight, as per usual, I'll be playing Cinnamon Garrist. He is our Haragon Circle of the Wildfire Druid. He, they pronouns. Boy, it's going to be a wild one.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how far we get. Yeah, and I am going to be your DM for the evening. My name is Bill, and I am found for now at Philadelphia on Twitter. But the best place to get me is, of course, on the Discord that you can find in the link there. Hold on 1 sec.
I'm so glad that we're just gonna keep it going.
Yeah,
2 weeks in a row. Now it's a meme.
I know. So my wife is at a work dinner right now, so I'm getting like updates about like tragedies that are happening across the room.
We have to make that an alert. Like just like we'll just say Bill's kids, and it's just like if Bill is yelling off screen on mute.
I just look off screen.
Yeah, might get Maria to create an emoji for it at this point.
I swear. All right, so before we get into things, Jacob, do you have any announcements you'd like to go through?
I do. So, for the uninitiated, 26 days from now is PAX Unplugged in wonderful. Well, some people will call it wonderful. I called it. I had a really fun time last time. PAX Unplugged, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the week of December the 2nd. So the 2nd through the 4th. And I will be not on one panel, but 2 panels. One on Friday called Running Your First TTRPG, How to Stop Worrying About Failure. So we'll talk about some of the things that a few of us have run into at the beginning of our GMing TTRPG journey. I'll be joined Maria, i.e. Happy Capster, will be moderating that panel, and I'll be joined by Sean Banerjee of Pan with a Plan and the Word Refinery, Waffles of Waffles Maple Syrup, myself, Ambrose of Sade and Ambrose. Actually, she was actually on the Fables cast, if you watch Fables, and someone you may know by the name of Didu Jordan Lee. Never seen them before or anything like that. Of course. So that's going to be on Friday evening, 4:00 p.m. In the Crab God Theater. That is room 113B. So come hang out and listen to our dulcet tones. And then Saturday, same time, 4:00 p.m. Eastern time, same literally same area or room, Crab God Theater, room 113B. I'll be on a panel called The Asexual Bard, Representation Beyond Tropes. 13, it is a 13 and up panel, and we'll talk about being ace and, and that, for example, that not all bards are like super like into like, all of the tropes that are typically attached to them. And I'll be joined by, the moderator is Claudia Sanchez, and I'll be joined by one Gremlin Art, Lynn, who is amazing, Mike Bales, one incredible April Raygun, who you may know from Yulia 5e, Redwall Story, and she's the co-founder of Slady's ETL. Once again, Maria, aka Happy Capster, and should be a good time. So come hang out.
Very cool. And mentioning some of the folks inside the community, Happy Cap, Gremlin Art, I think is important because they also did a bunch of our art. Happy Cap did our overlays, Lynn did our character art, and you should go and follow them and support them and commission them as well.
Yes.
And it wouldn't be a complete plug if I didn't also talk about So Many Games, who also did the intro, which you are just about to see. So unless there's anything else, so
affiliate stuff.
Yeah,
cool.
Sure. We are.
It's cool if you want to skip it. I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah, we're affiliates and start playing in Sessions Zero Clothing. But you can see there's stuff that gets posted inside of our chat pretty frequently. So follow them and love them and all that great stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
there's some codes and stuff.
Let's have an adventure that we go on and enjoy ourselves while having that adventure now.
Great.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So last episode, the group had a couple moments to debrief after the incident inside the mayor's office, where Second showed some of the wounds that connected their experiences to what the group had just done with the mayor, which recontextualized the dynamics of the group. Then, after turning the mayor over to the town, they left Terse Fields, heading out towards the west along the Parchwood Way, where they believe they know the Shade Barrow to be. Along the way, they took a long rest while continuing to push the cart forward, and upon reaching a crossroads near where they needed to turn off the beaten path, they saw another cart coming from the north. In that cart was Corbett and Alice, who brought news that Mercy, where Second, quote, grew up, has been taken over by Second's main bully, Nelzich. And Corbett questioned the importance of Second's current quest relative to following in the path of the Everlight. But Second rebuffed him. Then, leaving on a bit of a joke about Nelzich's bathroom habits, Corbett steered the cart towards West Room. And that's where we left it. I kind of envision there being a few moments of by the way, let me know if the music is a little bit loud. It's a little loud on my end, but that's not always accurate. So I kind of envision there being a couple moments of digestion about kind of what is going on, but I want to turn it over to you all as it's this is more or less kind of your journey.
So as that sort of joke manifests and they leave, like it's kind of a frown on Cinnabon's face. Second, there seems to have been, at least from where I'm sitting, a lot of that felt really unfair to me. But I don't know a lot of the context, so I decided not to get involved. But I thought I'd just ask you how you're feeling.
Second, we'll think for a moment. Shrug, nod, and then just point down the road they were intended to go down.
As long as you're all right.
Cinnabon,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's because Second has now shown their hand off to the distance, and you take your eyes and kind of track where they're pointing. You notice off to the left-hand side there is a bit of a depression in the kind of crunchy grass that is off to the left-hand side. It's noticeable to you mostly because there has been, like this area is dry and the crops have been mostly died, maybe a month or so ago, and so what remains is basically this dead stalk of some sort of corn or whatever it might be. But where your eyes travel now, you see that there is a section of it that has been depressed,
like a large foot stepped on it, like it seems out of place.
You can make a perception check.
All right, that's a 19.
All right. What that was, folks, was passive perception, and now we're traveling to active perception now.
2 more points.
And in the land of active perception, you notice that there is the marks of a cart that has gone off of the road, and the way that the depression looks now is that it is very clear that there are wheels. And so the section of like where the wheels have traveled off of the road is very much depressed. Like somebody crunched all that stuff down. But in the middle, you can tell that this is where like something traveled over it. Mm-hmm. And so it didn't crunch that stuff down, but it definitely like pushed it to the side, if that makes sense.
Got it. But there's still like a cart there?
No.
Oh, it's like
it's the remnants, okay, right? Like imagine.
You said cart. I was like, "There's a second cart." That's my bad.
Yeah, it's difficult to describe because, like, imagine if this were live grass. You could basically say that like everything is fallen down, but because it's not live grass, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. But that's on the way towards the Shade Barrow, or is that on the beaten path? Hey, title.
So what I would say is it is. I don't think I'm going to make you roll for this. I think you have essentially been thinking of that map this whole time, and
has left his mind certainly.
Yeah, right. So the direction that this kind of depression is going is off towards where you would expect the shade bearer to be.
And yeah, he'll just kind of sort of following Second's lead. He'll kind of point it out. I believe that's where we're headed.
All right.
Oh, I think I'm getting a bit nervous, if I'm being honest. Especially after... I don't know if I'd call what they said warnings, exactly. More like threats of our own demise, I suppose. It's not exactly forthcoming, but... I
Well,
don't really know what to think of it, if I'm being honest.
I mean, as long as we have a plan B and a plan C, I think we'll be all right.
Do we have those?
No, we should get them.
Much more of a act first, plan later kind of deal. I have no idea what's gonna be there. I'd rather get closer and game plan from there.
Yes, I'm currently trying not to let my imagination run wild and anticipate the worst. So... that works for me.
Ozen kind of puts a hand on Cinnabon's shoulder and goes, I made a promise to you that we will get them. We will rescue them. I know it's scary, it's uncertain, but hopefully, not hopefully, I know we can save them.
Let's hope you're right. And I know I said it already, but... and he kind of makes a point to look at all three of them, like, in their eye. Thank you for doing this. I know you didn't have to. I know you chose to. And then he'll get back up on the cart.
Samesies.
All right. So quick logistics question. Are you intending to ride the cart into like off the path?
That's
I
my
think
intent,
so.
at least, unless anyone has an objection.
Okay. Okay. I wasn't sure if
I
you're
have a
going on
chance.
foot.
Does it, in that depression, does it look like it's going to be a roller coaster ride? Like, what are we, you know?
No, this is fields, right? So
Cool.
it's going to be bumpy, but because it's not paved, but it's not going to be,
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah, off-roading. Cool,
All right.
let's go.
Yep. Okay. So before we go any further, I do want to take one quick second to do a bit of housekeeping.
Hmm.
Because on the one hand, I saw this posted in the chat, and I think it's important to say this verbally as well, because I forgot to say it at the beginning. I don't know how far we're going to get tonight, but there is a strong possibility that there's going to be some really strong themes tonight, adult themes, typically around violence and danger, and it will probably get a little bit dark. And again, it kind of depends on whether this is tonight or tomorrow night. So just a heads up that things could get dark. Please take care of yourselves. As it says in the chat, self-care is badass, and I love that because it's true. So take a break if you need it. And yeah, the other piece of housekeeping that I would like to mention is when we think about kind of the journey from the thief hideout back to Turst Fields, the growth and development that all of you experienced there, and ever since then, I think it's worthwhile to highlight the fact that it is time to go to level 6. Now that you have,
Okay.
I will
yes,
take that.
yes. Now that you have taken a long rest on the road here,
Oh shit.
so
I then don't mind if I do.
yeah.
I was not
Um,
expecting that at the top of the show.
I declare.
I do declare.
I declare.
So, well, you know, I'm fattening you up to eat you.
That's definitely.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Oh,
This is
I'm
the
very
very
aware.
Hansel and Gretel.
All right. So while you all kind of manage that, I will kind of describe what's happening in front of you as you go. I assume more or less that you are following the same sort of path that the cart before you had followed, right? Is that accurate?
I'm good with that.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So what I will say is that you follow this for about 15 minutes, and the cart that you're driving right now is going further and further away from the Parchwood Way, and the fields themselves are rather uniform, strangely so. And until you get to, again, it's a little bit difficult to use this word, but I would call it an opening. And what I mean by that is it is clear that from what you can see in front of you, that the cart that was driving along your current path ended up pulling off to one side. And then you could see a number of different depressions inside of this dead grass that indicate that something big and semi-permanent was here. Now, semi-permanent isn't the right word. I would say like something stayed here for a bit, causing there to be discrete sections of this area that are just flattened. And then you can see sort of off maybe 20 feet in front of you that the where the wagon kind of rested then continued along some more. Did I describe that well? Does that make sense? Okay. Questions or thoughts?
Nothing in particular for me.
Okay.
Forward march as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Cool.
I'm curious about one thing, Bill.
Yeah.
What are the like aside from the cart itself and the music? Is there any other any other sounds that we hear aside from what we see?
Yes, of course. I mean, this is a fairly lively section of the field. So you hear some birds chirping off in the distance. You recognize that it is, there's nothing abnormal about the natural world here. I'm sure if you were to pay attention to it, you would see a couple of field mice, running around a little bit. And it is, to reiterate, another just absolutely gorgeous day with no clouds over top of you.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, cool.
Amazing.
Okay, so we may end up getting closer to this than I expected. So you're passing right by that. Now, you continue along, and you don't see anything different for quite a while. And remember, we started out today, basically with Second talking to their old friends, so to say. And that was first thing in the morning. And you continue for an hour, for then 2 hours, and then 3 hours. And the uniformity of the fields that's around you is kind of, in some ways, heartening, because it means, you're still on the same path, but it's also a bit scary, disappointing, because Hosen, you of all people know that these fields used to be just flush with the golden wheat and multicolored flowers and vegetables and greens. And the more that you travel, the more you realize just how impactful the drought currently is having in effect. And now the sun is getting quite overhead at the moment. And we're getting closer to 12 o'clock noon. And then I would say, well, who's driving the cart?
I'll probably say Mama Moco is back to driving the cart.
Okay.
I like it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Mama Mocha and Hosen, you said you probably would be too. I mean, the two of you could be sitting next to each other up there. So what I will say is, again, kind of looking at the crunchy numbers of things, Hosen, you are, keeping an eye out, and you see something that breaks the monotony, that breaks this uniformity, and it's on the horizon at the moment. And I think you're too far away to really decide whether or not this is true or not. Maybe it's a mirage or your eyes playing tricks on you, but it seems as though there's a line of people across perpendicular to where you are headed. And this line of people might be 20 people, interspaced, maybe 5 to 10 feet in between them, currently motionless.
I point this out to my companions. Kind of look over. Should we go investigate? People out here in the middle of nowhere.
It is a bit
Seems very suspicious.
odd.
And how far away are they?
How far are they? I mean, I think the visibility that you're currently benefiting from, maybe a mile.
Peculiar.
Maybe we just sort of swing by a little bit and see what we see.
Yeah, get a little bit closer, but not too close.
Certainly. And as Hosen and Big Mama Moco turn back to the road, somebody's gonna pass a piece of parchment to second, fold it up, and just kind of placed in your lap.
Second will take it and cock their head to the side and look at Cinnabon.
You can read it whenever. Nothing urgent.
Will nod and tuck it into their cloak.
Okay.
And you can kind of hear this accidental sigh of relief coming from him.
So the plan is to approach. Yes.
Carefully, yeah.
Okay. Okay. The closer that you get, now all of you being able to see this, you are 3/4 of a mile, half a mile. And I think at half a mile, you're able to make some distinctions about the forms of these people. There's actually two lines. There's one up front, and then there is one in the back. And with the beautiful sun, it is glinting off of some sort of armor on both of those lines. You can also see that in between the two lines, there appears to be a cart. And the second line seems to be talking to or inspecting or somehow interacting with that cart, while the front line stands firm.
Okay. Are they moving in our direction as well?
No,
They're just standing there.
completely still. Yep.
I think if it would be okay with you all, I can be super stealthy, put my cloak up, try to hide, and get a closer look so that way all of us are approaching this at the same time.
All right. Sounds good.
Second holds out one finger, and then kneels down, places their hands on the image of the phoenix on their shield, and just says, "The Everlight guides and protects those who seek to help others, and will cast aid on everyone for
Nice.
an increase of 5 in your max hit points for the duration of the spell for the next 8 hours. So not 5 temporary, 5 max up. So if you get healed during that time, you'll get back to that 5.
Absolutely rad.
Yeah. 8 hours, right?
I like it.
8 hours. Yeah.
I like it.
The big
Okay.
4-0.
Perfect. Yeah, so I think Hosen puts up his cloak and tries to sneak his way up
Sure.
to these statues.
No, not statues. They are people that are standing.
Oh, they're just people. Okay, cool.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, cool. So why don't you give me a stealth check, please?
Perfect.
Guidance before you leave.
Cool. Love it. Also, sorry, y'all. I'm sick, so if I sound very sniffly.
No, man, it's an ASMR stream, remember?
Exactly, that's right.
Sexy Bill, sexy Alex. That's what's happening.
There we go.
Party on.
27.
Holy
Plus
shit.
guidance.
Hosen?
He really is good at that.
Plus
Let's see
4, so
over
for
here.
31.
Good
God.
Lord. Well, good night,
First roll of the
everybody.
night.
Oh my god.
And we never saw Hosen again.
Okay. Okay.
I just look like the Predator, just a little shimmer.
Yeah.
I almost wish I cast Pass Without a Trace just to say that we could say 41, you know?
Ooh, yeah.
So, I think with a 31 stealth, maybe what it is you're remembering the promise that you made to Balthazar and using his armor to help you achieve this. You step off the cart and start kind of hiding amongst the dead pieces of stalks of corn here. And you approach. Do you want to tell me what it looks like when you approach and how you approach?
Yeah.
As I mentioned, like imagine a completely like uniform field with just like maybe like I said, 20 folks just kind of standing there up in front of you, and there are no real rolls to the plains at all. It is completely flat.
Yeah, I think what I do is I take like a wide berth and just like go around just to kind of like get like a 360 view of it, trying to keep close but not too close. Probably I would say 50 feet away.
Okay.
Because I'm feeling confident in my stealthy stealth.
Okay. So even at 50 feet, you can hear, because you're also being incredibly silent with the 31 stealth. You can hear that the front line has spotted your cart, and there is some sort of commander, and this commander is ordering everybody to hold and stand firm.
Gotcha. What does the cart look like in this area? Like from this distance?
Oh, the one that's being investigated in the second line. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, all right. so there are conversations happening, and I think because it is not a kind of loud shouted order as what was with the first line, you can't really tell or make out a lot of the conversations as being had there. But you do know that there are a couple of people that are, you know, getting inside of the cart and like inspecting underneath and, you know, checking the bags of the people that are driving the cart, you know, doing a full inspection of this thing. Now, one thing that strikes you as you are watching this happen is that it is a covered cart, right? It is a little bit more fancy than yours. But the curtain that separates the cart here in the back has been flipped open. And one thing that strikes you about this is that you can see that there are iron bars in the back of the cart. And you can see hands grasp those iron bars. And then you could see a face come up against the bars, looking at the people doing the investigation. This is an old woman, short and stout, and she has kind of she
I'm
has
sorry.
she has been polymorphed into a
100%.
teapot.
Oh, wow.
Angela Lansbury is here, everyone.
Yeah. No, but she definitely has a squat figure, and you could tell that she has kind of a bit of a leathery skin, and so but from your distance, about 50 feet away, that's pretty much all that you can tell. And somebody checks the back of this and nods to one of their compatriots, and then closes the curtain, and then kind of taps the side of the wagon, and they start marching forward.
Gotcha. Do I recognize any of the armor or anything of that sort?
You do. Good question. This is a contingent of the shields.
Gotcha.
The shields, of course, being a kind of semi mercenary, but also semi like governmental agency of protection throughout Tal'dorei, specifically in this area.
Gotcha. I think I sneak on back to my compatriots and tell them everything that I saw.
Sure.
Also, I'll say like, oh yeah, let's like start wandering away a little bit. I think they notice us.
There was someone in there.
Correct.
Is it some
What
sort
she
of
look
like?
like?
Second points forward at the cart that Hosen just came back from and says, "Is that inappropriate?"
I don't know. I mean, they are the shield. If someone has a bounty on their head, I'm assuming they would try to get that person. And there's metal bars in the back there. But gonna get a clear look at the person inside.
Does that kind of look out there, Bill? Like, is there more carts, or is that the only one that we see from here?
Only one.
Okay.
Good question, though.
Do they typically do things like inspections of carts or anything like that?
You know? Possibly. I mean, it's their role to, and I use heavy air quotes, protect. But I don't know.
It also wouldn't be too surprising if considering everything going on, that thing was, well, due to the stress, or a bit heightened, I suppose.
So just to add some context, and Alex, you would know this. Imagine a world where police officers could be paid to do other jobs. That is kind of the way that the shields are. Now, like, there are, of course, like, decent people amongst them, but that does not necessarily have to be the rule.
But also, all cops are bastards. So
Yep, I was gonna say, when you try to ACAB without ACABing. Yep. Oh, deep cut. Anyway.
Second is staring at Rosen's hand movements, not being a big reader, and is waiting for the rest of the spell to be cast to see what happens.
Yes, clearly a lesser restoration incantation, obviously.
obviously.
But when nothing materializes, they will kind of do a little thinking about it, and then say, "Audience with the governmental folks," and gesture towards the shields.
We could.
I mean, it's probably best to be proactive about it, considering they could just attempt to stop us in a matter of moments, right?
True.
Right.
Well, sounds like a decision's been made then.
Let's get closer.
I don't know who's in there.
All right. So you get in the cart, bring the cart closer. Unless you tell me otherwise, I'm going to assume you basically get right up on them within speaking distance.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I put away my ACAB pin that I always wear.
My 1312 tattoo, I had to cover that up.
Exactly.
All right. That's what the 31 stealth is for.
Hey!
There we go. Hey, there you go.
Got him.
All right. Okay. So before you even get there, they call out to you. You're about 15 feet away at this point, and they call out to you and say, "You there, stop. I recommend you turn around and go back to where you came from."
Hosen speaks up a little bit and goes, "Oh, hi, hello. Sorry, we seem to be a little bit lost. We're trying to get to, Shadeborough, I think is the name of it. We had someone in Turffields recommend it as a good hangout spot. We wanted to see if you had any recommendations on how to get there."
Okay, Hosen.
That not what I was expecting you to say at all.
It's a good hangout spot. We're just, trying to.
It's a great hangout spot. Yeah.
Second has a moment in their head where they're like, "God, I can't even speak, and I think I could have come up with something better than that."
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, I think someone's like, "All right, that's a thing that happened."
I hear there's a speakeasy down there. I don't know. Just trying to play dumb tourist.
Oh, amazing.
Okay, so Hosen, you come up, and remember I said that there's about 20 of these guards with a group of them behind. And it's really not that far, between the two lines. It might be about 50 feet between the two. And you see somebody come from that second line to come up. And you've been around shields long enough. You know that there are ranks and there's, insignia that indicate those ranks. And it is very clear that this person that is coming to the first rank from the second is probably in charge of the whole operation. and you see this person kind of walk commandingly towards you, and the voice that comes out from them is and forgive me, I think all voices are probably going to be the same tonight just because my voice is not doing great.
Hey, it's cool, man.
But
You learned it best.
this voice says, I believe you've been told to go back to where you came from. And then the voice stops and then sees you, Hosen. And just remind me, do you have your cape?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And I think, a couple of seconds goes by and they then see your cape and their suspicions are confirmed. The helmet comes off and you see an older, broad-shouldered woman, roughly 6'2", and she has her gray hair, excuse me, tied up inside of a bun that was underneath her helmet. And she has these piercing green eyes, and she looks at you and you look at her, and she says, Hosen, of all places, I would not expect you to have been here. And you see now that her face and this concern and her calling you out, it jogs your memory. It may have been 20 years since you've seen her, but this is Barbara, the shield member that taught you swordplay, that taught you how to ride a horse, that helped you become an accomplished, I suppose, like an accomplished man of was it shit, I lost the thread.
Men of the sword.
There are certain things that are expected of you when you are a part of a certain class, right? You need to do X, Y, and Z, right? And so typically the adults can't do that themselves, and so they contract out somebody, and that person for Hosen's family was Barbara. And here she stands in charge of this current operation, and she looks at you and says to you, now, I was saying that as an order of the shield, and now I'm saying this as somebody that used to care about, well, that still cares about you. This is not the place for you. Go and bring your friends.
I think Hosen gets like a childlike wonder in their eye, like first person they've seen from West Run in 20 years. And so he kind of hops off the cart and kind of runs up to Barbara, gives him a big hug, shows the rapier, shows the armor, just kind of like just like seeing a family member for the first time in quite some time.
And you could feel that there's reticence in the way that she feels. Her body is at the same time happy to meet you, happy to have you inside of her brace again, but also very tense. There is a fear. And she says, I'm not kidding, Hosen. You must turn back. I don't know what is back there, but I have heard the stories of Shadebarrow, and of course the League of Miracles is doing something there, but that is their business. It is not yours. Please listen to me.
The League of Miracles is doing something there?
Oh yes, and she actually like pipes up a little bit, and she is at that question she says, yes, of course. They are sometimes strange and sometimes unknown in their doings, but you know them. They are ultimately a good organization. So I'm sure whatever it is that they are doing there is for the greater good. Perhaps what it is they are trying to rid it of all of its infamy and the villainy that lives within it. I mean, you know as well as I do that the League of Miracles is powerful enough to do so if they decided.
Of course, yes.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt. Hello. You keep saying there. Can you be a bit more specific about where there is?
You mean specifically about the Shade Barrow?
Right. Just making
Oh.
sure we're on the same page there.
Sure, it's probably another hour's walk. No,
All right.
no,
Thank you.
that way. And she like realizes that she just fucked up big time.
Do we even need to do an inside check?
I know that was my bad. Whoops.
That was amazing. I loved every nanosecond.
Listen, let's play with it. Let's go.
Let's go with it.
Jose kind of pipes up and goes, Barbara, your loyalty was always your strong suit, but lying wasn't. Me and my companions are going there. Maybe to help out the League of Miracles a little bit. Try to figure out.
She says, "No, you're not." And then she makes a hand signal, and the second line of about 10 forms up and gets behind her in between you and the path forward.
Barbara, with this drought, something has awoken. The tattoos, they're doing stuff. They're waking up, I guess. Shadeborough could hold answers I'm looking for, that we've been looking for quite some time about these things. And with that, Hosen goes into the giant's mode and grows.
Okay.
Not intimidating or anything of that sort, just to show off.
Like
power.
informational.
Yep.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Like you said, tattoos. Did you say tattoos? I just want to make sure I heard that correctly.
Yes.
Okay. Cinnamon's like, "What are you talking about?"
She says, "Huh." And she looks unsurprised. And she says, "Hosen, come down here."
I stay tall. Lasts for a minute, so.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think it's a thing that you could actually like stop.
Yeah.
Okay. So she takes a couple. No, go ahead. What were we going to say, Jacob?
Yeah, I was just gonna add. I think you don't really know the context of why we're heading this direction. And pardon the forwardness, but this and kind of like points to the oncoming. I kind of envision it as like a blockade of like people, right?
100%. In my notes, I have the blockade.
I love you. Oh, amazing. This stands between me and my family, and I've come quite a long way. This is not enough to stop me, because nothing is enough to stop me. I rephrase, nothing will stop me. 0 is enough. What? 10's not enough, 0 is. Sounded so much better in my brain. Anyway.
Okay. So she takes another hand and does another hand signal. And she turns her head to the side. And as doing so, now the 20 soldiers form a box with the 10 soldiers that were the second line that were behind you. and then 10 on each side, with the open portion of the box leading back to where you came from. So you're kind of more or less surrounded on 3 sides at the moment. And she says, I do not want violence, but I cannot allow you to get past. The choice of violence will not be mine today.
Oh,
It will be
certainly would.
yours.
It certainly would. You're the one being aggressive here.
No, not aggressive.
Oh, really?
I'm-
Not 20 people attempting to stop us from moving. That's
It's very intimidating.
Trust me, I'm not trying to be intimidating. I'm only fulfilling the contract that was given to me.
What contract?
what is that contract?
Simply to prevent anybody that does not belong here from getting through. And trust me, the League of Miracles is paying handsomely for me and the rest of my crew here.
You're right in that I don't belong there, but neither does my family either. Which is why we're going to go get them.
If the League has business with your family, I am sure it is
Even if
of
they
a-
didn't consent to it, even if we were kidnapped, you truly believe that this league and whatever they are doing and the morality in which they find themselves is better than hurting a family under the cover of darkness and taking everyone but one with you.
You can see that she's trying not to listen to you.
Barbara, growing up, your loyalty was something I looked up to. You protected me and Balthazar. You taught me everything I know. The sound of gold in your pockets right now shows me that you have changed. This is not the Barbara that I know. Please, let us have passage.
She says, Hosen, bringing you into manhood was a job. I got paid. It was something that was contracted of me to do. And yes, of course, I felt like I was a part of your family. Yes, of course, but I never was. You have to understand that. It was my duty as a contract that I provided to your parents. Now, I'm doing the same now. I know it was perhaps difficult for you to understand, but this is always who I've been.
I ask a question. The cart that they were driving,
Yeah.
is anybody still on the cart, or is the cart just paused with all the soldiers now?
No, so when they like slapped the top of it,
Mhm.
that was the signal that it's good to go, and it has been traveling.
Okay. And did second from all the way back in our cart get a look at the woman through the bars or no? Was it only Hosen?
Second, how no, you haven't been very close. Even at the closest to the front line, you were 50 feet away, which is as close to the cart as Hosen was. And so that would have, like, the description that I gave Hosen would have been the same one that you would have seen.
Yeah. And I think you said they stopped us 15 feet away from them, I believe.
Yeah, right. So maybe even worse. Okay, now she says, Hosen, it might. I have some information that I could trade for you. You take the information and you leave. If
What's
you
the
don't,
information?
you mentioned your tattoos. I know a bit about how they got put on you. But if I tell you that information, you must promise to leave and do not breach this blockade. Go back. Go back to Balthazar and do not come here.
Enticing, but I think you misheard my friend. We are going to Shadeborough to rescue his family. Everything they've done in this conversation has been nothing but intimidation, lies, and I don't trust you. We're going to save my friend's family, whether you like it or not. We'll go back the way we came and then go a different path. Wait till you're gone. Do you really expect to just stay here this entire time?
Now, you see, if I don't let you, I'm sorry, if I let you pass, that means I'm not doing my job. And if I don't do my job, that means I don't get paid. And if I don't get paid, then what
How much
is
do you
the point?
get paid? Sorry, that was I didn't mean to interrupt.
She says that's none of your business at all. It's my business. Now,
What if we could pay you more?
Now that's an interesting prospect. Do you think you could pay for, and she looks around, a contingent of 30 soldiers?
That's not what you said, actually. You said you.
Sure, but the money that I receive goes to my soldiers here.
Oh, well, pardon the curtness of my twin sister, but it sounds like a you problem.
No, in fact, it's not, because if you can't pay me more than an entire
You get to say a number.
$1 billion.
I accept.
I mean, she probably says it's steep. It is 500 gold.
How does that apply per day?
Well, the 500 gold was for a standard contract of 10 days of working time, and if I decide to go, if the length of time that's required goes over that by 1 day, it is an additional 50 gold for each person each day. So it goes up rather steeply after that. We're currently on day 8, so time is ticking.
Oh, well, that makes sense. But you're only breaching your agreement for a very short amount of time. So, as a matter of fact, it's in seconds. So, I think that 5 gold for this current breach is more than sufficient. As a matter of fact, it's actually overpaying, if I'm being honest. And I'm actually quite new to economics, so I think that's actually very forthright from where I stand.
Roll the persuasion check of your goddamn life.
It won't.
Can I
Straight
help?
roll.
Can I help out in this?
Sure, if you could explain how.
I know that there's still loyalty in you. That being said, I still never repaid you for all the help that you've given me.
Your assistants would be giving me advantage, right?
Correct.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And Big Mama just rolled a guidance of a 1.
Oh, that's
One.
cool. Thank God I had an advantage because I rolled 1 on the first one and a 9 on the second one, so it probably doesn't matter.
She takes the 5 gold pieces and says,
Oh, I haven't. I just said it. I haven't put
Oh,
a
I
hand
thought you
on
were
her
holding
hand.
it out.
Not a
Okay.
fucking chance.
Fair
You just-
play. Okay, then in that case, she says, "Is that too rich for your blood?"
I'm certainly not rich.
Second sighs, and gets up off the cart, starts walking towards Barbara. And when they're about 5 feet away, just waves at her and disappears.
Okay, she calls out and says, "Find him! Find it!" And then people start kind of running around, like trying to find you. Now,
The moment that happens, the moment chaos starts
Yes.
happening, I will reappear disguised as one of the soldiers in the chaos, like running around
I love
looking
you
for
so much.
myself.
Amazing.
I love that.
And
that is spectacular. Take
played.
inspiration, please.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Can I follow up on that chaos? You can keep going.
Hold on. Let Smitty keep going.
Yeah, so and like I will eventually like work my way a little bit off to the side when everyone else is scattering, and I will just point like, I don't know, like 90 degrees off the trail and just say, "It is an emergency," in Balthazar's voice, and point that way into the woods.
Okay, roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh my god, it's amazing. Wow.
I love that.
Wow.
I have to remember how to do advantage. Was it shift? There we go.
Well, that didn't take long to escalate, did it?
19.
With a 19, nobody questions what you're saying. The chaos has been so effective at making everything kind of like chaotic that they just see a lead and then they take the lead. And Barbara is standing there, the last remaining person of this garrison, and every single one of the other 30 soldiers that are there are kind of heading off in complete disarray. And you can see that Barbara is standing there, nervous, not sure if she should follow or if she should stay with you, ultimately opting to stay with you and kind of guard you. And then I think that's actually a good place to take our break.
Oh, geez.
I was very surprised to look down at the clock. I'm like, whoa, it's 9:15.
Goddamn.
Fucking
Fantastic.
Wow.
I love it.
Well played, Smitty. Well played.
You know what? I
Well played.
honestly wasn't sure how y'all were gonna get past that because it started
Second, bringing the chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Good shit.
All right, y'all.
Cool.
We are gonna take about a 10-minute break. We'll come back, resolve the chaos, and then head towards Shady Town.
Or will we continue the chaos? Find out in a few minutes. We're out.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We had a quick audible here as Alex wasn't feeling very well. I think the overarching sentiment at the amphitheater here is that like self-care is important, and you are a badass for taking self-care important seriously. So we encouraged him to take the night off, and so he's going to just kind of chill and take care of himself.
Rest up, bud.
In the meantime, we are going to forge ahead just a little bit to get us to a logical stopping point, and then we'll probably call it a little bit early tonight because we don't want to get too far ahead without Alex's involvement. With that said, I think where we left off was the chaos had ensued, and Jacob, you had said that you were thinking of doing something as well.
I did. So as a quick state of the world here. So second obviously disappeared. I assume me and Big Mama Mocha are still right next to each other. And I believe before Alex left, Hosen was, even though we were talking, we were all three of us were together.
That's right. That's right. And second, I would say, is probably, I don't know, maybe about 20 feet away towards the
wherever like the tree line is, basically.
The tree line. There's no tree line.
Oh, it's just fields?
Yeah, it's just fields.
The line was
where we got the tree line
initially.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Sure. Makes sense, right? So he is going to summon Archie. So there's a large like flash of fiery light on the cart as fiery corgi appears, and he'll look to Hosen and Big Mama Mocha and say, "Right, would you like to go on a short ride with me for just a minute?" Just trust me. Touch my shoulder right now. And where is it? What's it called? And then Archie is going to teleport us 15 feet forward using fiery teleportation. Past, right, which should be, if we're 15 feet away from where they were, should be right at, if not right past where the line was.
Fucking awesome. And I think that puts you somewhat parallel to where Second is at the moment. Second, you see pretty much right next to you Hosen and Big Mama and Archie and Cinnabon appear.
I'll jump on the cart.
Wait, what?
I don't believe the cart is there.
Oh, you just you guys, you left the cart. You didn't take the whole thing? All right, I'll
see. It's I can teleport. Yeah, I can teleport. Oh, every willing creature. I can't teleport the cart.
Okay, I'll start walking with you.
Yeah, and then anyway, and then he is so you turn back into you.
What's
otherwise
yeah. I assume because you all heard me say the thing in Balthazar's voice, maybe you didn't. But okay. What's Barbara doing when they teleport?
Great question, because Barbara is confused for a couple seconds, then turns around and looks behind her and sees Big Mama and Cinnabon, and then this little fiery corgi, and starts running towards you.
And as that happens,
pulls out her sword as she's running.
Okay. And then I'm going to cast Pass Without a Trace.
Okay. Now, Pass Without Trace is not invisibility.
No, but it is a veil of shadows and silence that radiates from me.
Okay.
And there's some Pokemon ass tall grass that we're headed through. So
okay,
whatever you want to do.
Okay.
It's a risk, but you know.
So I would like all of you to make, if you're all going along with this.
I'm still as the other person, so I'm assuming then that Cinnabon wouldn't have cast Pass Without a Trace on me.
If I did see you be say Balthazar, I would. Yeah.
Okay.
I can roll for it too. I'm down for any chaos at this point.
Let's.
So roll for.
Because I know it's wild.
Yeah, I think it would be a perception check. That's a great point, Rain.
Great. Natural 19 for a 20 million.
Okay. It was clear to you that was Balthazar's voice.
Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, you know that this is actually second in their like disguised form.
Mhm.
So yeah, pass without trace.
Cool.
Okay, so here's the way I want this to work. I would like you to make stealth rolls.
Cool.
Again, assuming you're all going along with this kooky plan. But you're gonna have to make it with disadvantage because she is currently looking at you.
Do I have a double disadvantage?
Because
I'm wearing plate.
Oh, but you're not actually wearing plate, right?
I'm wearing mail. I'm wearing something with.
Is it split mail?
Disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
Then yes, you would be wearing. You would be doing this with double disadvantage.
Double disadvantage.
Double disadvantage.
Okay, so then if that's the case, like if I'm here and I'm in mail and Cinnabon cast this, I'm gonna be like, and Second's gonna cast blindness, deafness on Barbara.
I didn't say it was a good plan. I just said it was a plan. Amazing.
Shit. Holy shit.
It's better what I was going to do to her, so I'll take it.
That's a save, right?
Yeah, 15 Constitution. Yeah. I'll do it with deafness.
Oh man.
That's a 7. So no.
Hopefully that'll offset the disadvantages of the passing without tracing.
Yeah, fair enough. So what you chose deafness?
Because I'm assuming that like there's veils of shadows. I assume that the sight is already like helped out with, but I'm clanking around in mail. So
sure.
I'm hoping that
yeah.
Sure, fair enough. So what I will let you do is roll it only with disadvantage.
Regular disadvantage.
Regular disadvantage.
Oh.
That was so worth a spell slot.
That was worth a spell slot.
No, it wasn't because I rolled double ones.
No, you did not. Shut up.
Oh no, one was a 7. One was a 7.
Okay, thank God.
Okay.
And it's plus 10 to whatever you roll.
So that was disadvantage was 16. It doesn't matter. I rolled 1, so it was still with disadvantage. So 16
right, because it's lower, right? Okay.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. Dirty 20 for me.
Big Mama.
Plus 10, which was my disadvantage is 11, so 21.
All right.
Do you want us to roll for Alex here, or do you got it?
Yeah, I'll roll for Alex. He's wearing leather, so it's a straight roll.
Yeah.
That's a 22 for him.
Nice.
Actually, plus.
It's a 32. Of course, it's a 32.
Plus his stealth
for Hosen, certainly.
Yeah, plus 9. So this is 12, 22. This is a 31. Yeah, so Hosen's gone.
1 for 4, not bad.
So now let me roll a perception check for Barbara.
Sure. Is that a disadvantage?
No, because she's looking directly at you.
She's deafened.
I had to ask, man. I'm not a gambler. I'm just saying.
She also rolled a 10. So yeah.
Wow.
As far as this is going to work. As far as you all are concerned, you are now essentially invisible to Barbara, who loses you, and you can see in your sort of protective hiding places that she is looking around, and also like very curious about why she can't hear anything, and
water in the ear,
and then she just kind of like picks her hands up like this, and then puts her sword back in the sheath, and then you could see that she's calling out orders for everybody to get back in line.
Second is just like, as this is happening, very, very happy that they took all of their items and gear and food and rations supply out of the cart with them before they jumped out earlier.
Of course, absolutely. I never unpacked.
Yeah.
um,
I'm a nomad, man.
Team Small stays ready.
Team
Sure.
Small stays ready.
yeah, sure. I mean, that's fine. You've got your backpacks and stuff.
Hashtag hermit.
Hashtag. Yeah, background life, Anyway.
So I think
Oh, it's so funny.
for all intents and purposes, you have bypassed this blockade, and you can continue on. But you are minus 1 cart.
That's cool.
But we are at the other cart now, right?
Oh no, we're past.
No, that cart had continued on further.
Thomas is going to be super pissed about losing their horses, but
Don't know what we're talking about. So if I'm confident that we're within outside of earshot of anybody at this point.
Yeah, I think that stealth roll provides you the opportunity to get outside of basically any suspicion.
Sure. And he'll just make a point of saying, "I'm so sorry. I just saw an opening and I took it. Plan C, I suppose. I didn't even think about a plan B. Hopefully we can recover that on the way back. I'm so sorry, everyone. By the way, second, wonderful job. Absolutely.
Second is just staring at you like,
I know. I just saw that. I did it, and I saw. I had tunnel vision. I saw the opening, and it made more sense to just run through it, right?
I really like knowing where my horses are.
I really should have just grabbed the cart. I know. I should have just yawned or something. I'm so sorry. Maybe we could wait the night, and maybe they just leave it there. I don't know. We could certainly do that.
Second looks at Big Mama.
Yeah.
Plan D.
Hold on. We're still in the midst. Plan C is still in progress. I feel like I don't know if I want to go quite all the way there just yet.
No. That's plan A.
Oh,
For us still to be
is that
going
how it
to-
works? I suppose I don't really know how that
absolutely.
works.
No, we didn't veer off the beaten path on, going to go get your family. So it was essentially plan A is here to there. B
Oh,
is
right.
what Hosen did. C is what y'all did.
Oh,
So now what do we plan D as in do now?
oh, all right. I suppose I didn't understand the escalation path then. All right. So we can wait till after dark and see if they we could certainly see if right now, I suppose, if they touch the cart. They might search it, but we have everything. So we'll see if they take it or not. Maybe that's first.
Yeah.
So just so I understand, you're gonna kind of hang out in the same area and wait to see whether or not they.
Well, hidden, I mean, we could.
Yeah.
He's
and let me ask
he's
if
not, to be clear, he's not saying that we should. He's just
Listen, don't let me
offering
influence your decisions.
that's not how
Second,
that works,
we'll
baby.
pull out a notebook and quickly sketch a picture of the bird cage with the raven in it, and just point back at because there's no way Second would have taken the bird cage off.
There's
the
no way. Yep,
No
you
way.
are minus a bird cage.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so our card's back this way. Question, just as a side note, the cart that had the person in it, where is that?
So
That's long gone, right?
Yeah, it's long gone. Once they
Okay, so I didn't hear that right. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Once they had okayed it to pass through, it continued on. And then the whole conversation happened, the chaos happened, and all that stuff. So long gone might not necessarily be accurate. You may still be able to see a little bit of it, because again, we're talking planes here, and so
Yeah.
it's very easy to see very far distances. So
Yep.
you may be able to see it still, but it's far off.
Gotcha. So looking at what second drew, I point at it. You know what? I need to own that. That's my responsibility. I'm gonna go right now and go get it. Stay hidden.
Stay safe.
And Pascal Trace is still up, and he's going to start Pink Panther. Bum 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 bum.
Second, we'll look over at Big Mama after Cinnamon walks away and go, today is going to be a bad day for him.
Yeah.
All right. So I think this is going to be a separate stealth roll.
I think that's totally fair.
So why don't you do it this time, because there's no attention on you whatsoever. You could do it with straight rolls.
All right, this is going to go just fine.
Can I give him guidance?
He already rolled, so I would
Oh.
say no.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. This is gonna go awesome. With Pass Without a Trace, I rolled a 15 because I rolled a natural 2 plus 3 plus 10. Let's fucking go.
Not too shabby.
If
Let
we're still
chaos-
within that minute, she'd still be deafened, but if it's past that minute,
Roll low, Bill.
I think, and I'm gonna actually do this secretly.
Please,
I think
secret. I love it.
Secret rolling.
Secret rolling. We are children tonight. Let's go.
Okay.
Why did the music stop for me?
Okay, so Cinnabon, kind of describe for me what it is that you are doing.
Cutting Smitty's face palms are just the gift that keeps on giving.
Was it because of the secret rolling song?
No, just this entire
no, it's because this plan is terrible.
It really is bad. It
Hold
is
on,
really
wait
bad.
a sec. I forgot my wallet.
Yep. It is really bad. And I'm so here for it. It makes me so happy. So yeah, I'm just taking my time. Because I know I have an hour. Even though I rolled like shit, he doesn't know that. And I'm just trying to sort of zigzag through the tall grass on the way, and then try to find an angle towards the wagon.
Okay. So these folks have more or less, after the chaos, reformed their two-line structure. Again, there's 20 people in the front, 10 people in the back.
Great.
And I assume similar to the way that Hosen kind of approached, maybe you were tracking Hosen and you decided to follow a similar trajectory to him.
Sure.
You're going
word for
around,
him. Word for me.
right? And so you start going around the outside. However, now Barbara is on high alert.
Certainly.
And I think there is a moment where you need to get over a clump of like broken down brambles or something, and so you try and maneuver yourself around it, but in so doing you stand up a little bit too tall, and that moment she spots you because she rolled a nat 20.
Of course you did.
And she calls out and says, "There's one of them," and she points at you, and you hear sheaths, swords coming out of their sheaths,
Totally.
and the 10 people that are on the right hand side of her, as she's standing in the middle of this formation, the 10 people start running in your direction.
So cool. How far am I from the Raven?
I would say 75 feet.
Jesus
Right.
fucking Christ.
Well, you had to go in
Okay.
a big circle to get
All
around
right.
it, you know?
It's
Mhm.
okay. All right. Okay.
How far is Big Mama from Barbara?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think you'll have stayed back a bit. And Cinnabon has been kind of on this journey on his own. I would say you're probably in the range of like 200, if not more.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. Plan F.
So
Or we fucked.
not quite.
No,
Not
no, no.
quite.
I
Plan
know
F.
I know he's got some stuff up his sleeve. All right, what do you got, dude?
So so I'm booking it towards the Raven, and as I do, I'm gonna go ahead and cast Plant Growth. But this time is a little bit different because it's not gonna take 8 hours.
Yeah.
And two, all the normal plants in 100-foot radius centered on the point that I create. I have 150 foot. That's a 150-foot range, and then I place it, and then it's 100-foot radius from there. So
Sure.
I'm putting it at maximum efficiency. I'll put it that way, and then 100-foot radius. Everything becomes thick and overgrown. You must spend 4 feet of movement for every 1 foot that you need to move.
Holy shit. Okay, so it's like double difficult terrain.
Quad difficult.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. So you are booking it because I mean we're not in initiative order,
Yeah.
but if we're using the action economy, you have I will say you're going to do a normal move. So you're putting yourself 30 feet closer. You're 45 feet still.
Mhm.
Okay, and progress has more or less come to a complete stop. And you look over your shoulder at them that are trying as hard as they can to rush towards you. And if we assume 30 feet of general movement divided by 4, yeah, like they are trying as hard as they can to machete their way through this this jungle that you've essentially created around them.
Yep.
You do not necessarily feel as though you are in as much danger as you were previously.
Also, with my bonus action, I'm gonna move my Archie towards the cart as well.
Okay, cool.
Because my intent is to have him grab it and then we book it.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I think at this point,
Yeah.
you
30 feet fly
probably
speed.
have a couple. I mean, you said what, 100 feet radius?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like these folks are not getting out anytime soon. You could sort of stroll to get this done because they're moving, like I said, less than 8 feet per turn, which is, that gives you 100 feet. We're talking like more 12 turn, less than 12 turns.
Sure.
Which is a strolling pace, dude.
Yeah, certainly. So when Archie makes contact, we're gonna his bonus action for him to dash, my action to dash, and head back. Not exactly from where we came, sort of adjacent to that, like to the west.
Sure.
And I'll just say, you're doing a wonderful job. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for protecting us. Thank you. I know you mean well. It's nothing personal. It's just it's very personal. It's my family, and sorry, and he's gone.
Okay. So as you're doing this, you feel air wish past you. An arrow has been launched.
Perfect.
And it's a miss.
Yep. As he's like, he's not taunting, but it's certainly taunting, but he's not meaning it for it.
Yep.
Gone.
Yeah.
Heading back home.
Yep.
So to speak.
And second, and Big Mama, you see that Barbara has she's pulled out a longbow and she is tracking Cinnabon.
one of those bonus actions is going to be that fire teleportation.
Oh. And that gives you what? You said 50?
Yeah, no, just 15. It's just to
15.
sort of continue to make it very random and hard to track.
Sure. And can you do that as many times as you'd like?
I can anytime I have a bonus action free.
Oh shit! Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, that's why it takes to burn a wild shape to do it. Burn a wild shape to do it, and a bonus action every time to do something to command Archie to do something.
All right, I think she's going to have one more shot. She's going to do it with disadvantage because now you're sort of randomly jumping around. And she gets what the actual
holy shit! Holy shit! Seriously?
I've never seen that happen. I got a nat 1 and a nat 20.
Wow.
So the string on her bow breaks.
Incredible. This should not have worked at all ever.
Holy shit. Yeah. And yeah, you continue on. And I think at this point, dejected, disappointed, and a little bit disgusted in the performance of her troops, Barbara calls off the hunt, and a loss is a loss. And the four of you are back together again.
Well,
that was exhilarating, terrifying, and amazing.
You know what? You should be proud of yourself. All of you. And then she points to all three of them. She's just like,
Should I?
Yes. Yes. I mean, for the greater good, for the, encounter that we just had. And that we're still here. Oh, absolutely. You should absolutely be proud of yourself, because guess what? Guess what's standing between us and Shadeboro right now?
What's that?
Nothing.
Well, I don't know. Just, it's still early. At this point, I don't know what I believe.
Second walks over to Cinnabon and gives like the side hug with one other arm. Takes the raven cage and smiles. Then when Second steps away, they look like this. They're like,
Jesus.
And they slip their hand inside their cloak to clutch the amulet of the Everlight. Like, yeah, I know we didn't do this shit. This was completely on her because this was a terrible plan. This was divine intervention. Yeah.
By Serenray's grace. Yeah. I agree 100%. It's probably the worst plan I've ever done in my entire D&D life. Say it a lot. Anyway.
All right. So, is it fair to say that you are continuing along, following where that cart left?
So, question. Before we talked about the Raven situation, did we want to wait and see if we could recover the cart now, or do we want to just... All right. Okay. All right. I know. I know. I don't have any right to say anything at this point.
All right. So I take that as a yes.
I think that's a yes.
I just want to say just how close that was to no more Cinnabon. That was very close.
You still had to hit a bunch.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I did have 20 chances to do so.
Okay. Things have happened. I also had some other stuff on my sleeve, so.
So you continue along, and now you're realizing that those marks that were being left inside of the field are being left by that cart that was driving ahead of you, because it is now incredibly fresh. And if you were to think about it, you would probably be able to assess that the cart that you all saw pass by when you were at the mansion of the mayor is this same cart, because you rode through the night and this cart took a rest. And during the time that cart was parked, back when you first got off the trail, you made up a lot of ground. And now the freshness of this trail, so to say, is apparent. Now, one thing that I want to make clear is that it doesn't seem like there's anything, Rain, to your point, like really blocking you from your progress at the moment. And so I think after maybe a little bit of time, you are starting to get a little bit more confident, comfortable, and perhaps anxious, excited. And Cinnabon, I think you being so curious about the world, and of course, again, with the highest passive perception, you
Sure is,
you
bro.
look down at the ground as you are kind of inspecting this strange irony of the dead plants that are around you, coming from a world where you're so used to life being so luxurious, at least as it relates to plant life. And you see something that is not natural. It's a glint off of something. It is something that looks haphazardly sort of dropped. In the bright sun that is up, no, not that. In the sun that is bright, it glints off of something that is metal. And it is more or less in the path up ahead, roughly about 10 to 15 feet away from you. Small, maybe a couple of inches across, but you can't tell any detail at this distance.
Kind of points out. Do you all see that?
What?
Kind of points it out.
Yeah, can we look at it? Do we notice it now?
Yeah, as he points
Did
it
you point
out, you can definitely see it. Yes.
How far off the current path that we're on would it be? Like, if we passed it by, like, how far would it be?
I mean, maybe a foot off of the trail.
Oh, then yeah, we'll go right by it. So no big
Yep,
deal.
that's right. Yep. Okay. Talk me through this. Who's approaching? Who's doing what?
Since I found it, I'm happy to approach.
Okay, cool.
Right
So-
next to him.
So, Cinnabon, you walk up to this thing and you reach down and you look at what this is.
Yeah.
And it is not just a piece of metal. It is a piece of metal with a hole punched into it. And inside of that hole is a silver necklace. What you're looking at is a medallion. And this medallion is crude, to be fair, but it is it seems as though it was somewhat lovingly created, because it was done by somebody that was not very good at putting together some sort of metal. But through the struggle of not knowing how to do this, it was clear that love was poured into this piece of metal. And there is a crude inscription of a frog, or rather a toad. Frogs are shit. Toads for life.
Toad life, basic Toad anonymous.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a toad. And you're not sure, it doesn't strike any memories in your head.
But it's crudely made.
Crudely made, yes.
I don't know if I would agree that it doesn't strike memories.
It's not for you.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Because we all find a memory,
Give
damn
me
it.
a fucking second.
Yeah.
And because like what comes to mind actually is like not metal wise, but like that necklace reminds him of something that his sister would want to make.
Ah, okay.
Oh.
And so like like the adrenaline of earlier just like is kicked the fuck out of him. And he just kind of looks at it and kind of looks at all the other three. Doesn't say anything. Just kind of lets that emotional like drop sort of hit him a little bit. Then
Do
his
you
shoulders slack a bit.
I assume you show it to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're all like together, so like it's
Sure,
there.
right. So Big Mama, you can't believe that this is what it is. A shiver just kind of goes down your spine as you look at this thing and you realize that this was the thing that you lovingly poured probably 3 days into before you left. It was a symbol of all that you loved about Tall Swamp. The sounds of the toads croaking in the night. It was what brought you and your aunt together. It was what was the soundtrack of your young adulthood and your ascension to being who you are now. And when you made it, you wanted it to be a symbol of connection between the two of you. And yes, perhaps it's not the most skillfully designed piece of jewelry ever, but to your aunt, it was the world. And now it is left in the middle of this field. And Cinnabon is holding on to it.
Cinnabon rabbit. May I hold that?
Yeah, no, of course. Hands it to you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
She takes it, holds it in her hands, and just lets like the cord just like dangle from her fingers, and she focuses a bit of energy on it and casts heat metal.
Oh shit! Cool.
And she just takes it till it goes glowing hot, presses her palms together on it. She accepts what happens to her palms when she does it. And through the pain She goes, "This was a gift that I made. And I think I know who is in that card. And I think we might need to traverse in that direction. Just continue on." And then she pries her hands apart so that it's like a indention in her palms. And she just takes it and just ties it on the edge of her quarterstaff, rips a bit of cloth off of her robes, and then just wraps both of her palms.
Cinnamon grabs your wrist. Will you do that? And he continues it. He wraps it.
Thank you, darling.
Just nods.
Second, when Big Mama started to do that, immediately started to instinctively cast healing, and is like frozen in a half position of reaching out, understanding that there's more to it, but not quite what to do next. And so Big Mama, if you look over, Second is standing there with, like a energy beginning to radiate from their hands, but with their head cocked looking at you.
Not at this time. We'll wait.
You know what's funny is I was going to say earlier that well, Big Mama, it is your turn. We've met someone from everyone else, right? On the way to see, hopefully, my family. So, not exactly how I pictured it. You okay?
That's a relative question.
It's worded that way on purpose.
What I could say is once we find out a few things, especially where my aunt is. This actually harkens back to the contract. And Barbara was talking about a contract. And one about the swamp. So I want to go visit him. That's just the best way I can put it. Crash a party. Plan G.
We skipped E and F? Did I miss that one? Those two?
No. We hit E and we did F.
Can you write these down?
It's okay.
Please?
It's okay. Yes, I can.
Right. Okay, thank you. I'm going to become
Plan G.
I'm going to become really concerned when we get to Z and we skip 20 letters of comment at this point. Whew.
It's like a storm that once you hit the end of the letters, you just start over. It's when you just name storms, you just keep going. It's a wheel.
Your Florida is showing.
Can you smell it?
Amazing.
Second looks towards Big Mama, nods to the amulet hanging from the staff, nods down the road to where the cart is, begins to walk that way and says, "Way is someone without the accessories."
That's great.
As
That's
always,
great.
well said.
The knack he has for doing that, I
I
love it.
just, I speak normally, and they're just so much better at this than me. We keep walking, I guess.
So, mhm.
Oh, all right. Sorry, I was on mute.
Good.
I'm really trying to figure out whether it makes sense to continue or to hold off, because I think the next step is getting there, and I kind of want to hold off until Alex comes.
Sure.
Mhm.
That's cool.
That
This
was
is great.
beautiful though. I love that. That was great.
Oh,
Okay,
I was trying to get to age so that way we'll have it as Planhosen.
there you go. Well played.
beautiful.
Yes, Cinema knows heat metal. He knows that was no joke.
That was no joke. I think so. So just for flavor, there's obviously no damage, especially because second came over and tried to make sure that you're healed and whatnot. But I still very much dig the idea that the sort of like Raiders of the Lost Ark, your hands are kind of like scarred a little bit with the
Sure.
imprints
Mhm.
of the gift that you gave to your aunt as a like a departing gift.
Awesome.
All right, so that's gonna do it for us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday. Hopefully Alex feels a little bit better. Hopefully
Yeah.
I'm not as sexy, because I know it was very difficult for you all to pay
God,
attention.
so distracting. It was great. It was great.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I know it's a
well-
little bit short tonight, but I think this is the right decision. So
100%, yeah.
let's go around, let's do some plugs, let's tell everybody where they can find us, and then we'll close it out. We'll do a raid.
Cool.
Start out with Smitty.
Hey, folks. PB Smitty on the interwebs, except for Twitter, where I no longer am. But you can find me as PB Smitty on Instagram, I think. Maybe Mastodon. I joined like 15 different social apps. We see if any of them take off. But you can certainly find me on Discord, and specifically the Amphitheater Discord, where I got to tell you,
Gotta tell.
will probably be the first place that we announced the next episode of AMGM's in the PM. Coming at some point in the future, but not for a while, because Bill's got bougie cultural stuff to do. But join the Discord, check it out.
I love that
Yeah.
Les Mis is what you're utilizing as bougie cultural stuff.
This is going to be the first time that I'm bringing my son to like a proper musical.
Sure.
We've done
Les Mis
like
is cool.
Christmas Carol before.
Chrismo
but like,
Carol. What is that?
I
You're
have a friend
already
growing
not
up,
sexy.
Chrismo Carol.
Yeah.
if you know, you know.
If you know,
Anyway.
yeah, secrets.
Anyway,
Oh.
Rain, over to you.
Jesus Christ.
I am Rain, Virgo Rain, Instagram, no TikTok. Yes, TikTok, sorry, no
I was
Twitter.
gonna say what? I was
That's
like,
not
true.
I'm on the TikTok.
She canceled
I'm not on
TikTok.
the Twitter. I've never tweeted, but yeah.
It's-
And then but it will be with my mermaiding and cosplay event, Virgo_Rain, RAYNE. That's me.
Sorry, I just had to put that into the chat. Okay, now let's go
Told
over
you.
to. And you know what? Actually, Jacob, do you remember me singing Les Mis at PAX U last year?
Yes,
Or-
I do.
Wonderful.
Of course I
Stupid.
do.
Stupid. Okay.
Oh, bad.
Jacob, why don't you go next?
Jesus. Hey everyone, Jacob Blake, Duval King Jacob here on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. So come holla at your boy. Mentioned at the top of the show, be at PAX U. Yell Duval really loud, and it's actually a 7th level summoning spell. So you'll find me, because I'll find you. So definitely come and hang out. Got a couple panels, as I mentioned earlier, that I won't go over again because I took too long to do it earlier. But anyway, you'll see them on the schedule. Tomorrow, Final Fantasy IX over on Duel's Gaming Journey, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Amphitheater. And then Thursday, after a incredibly climactic 1-year anniversary episode, our Truth of the Thousands Pathfinder 2E campaign, Outcast and Outclassed, over on Waffles Maple Syrup. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. And then Sunday, Dragon Last Dragons of Rebirth over on Twitch.tv/so many games. So lots of really awesome content this week from you boys. So come and hang out.
Fantastic. And as for me, you can find me in on Twitter at Bill Adelphia until I decide that this is not the platform for me anymore. So TBD. Now, I was going to get on a high horse about something. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, did we plug Alex?
I was about to do that on the way out.
Kinku Alex.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was about to do it on the way out.
You have to do it just like a hello everybody.
Great.
You can do all of
Go ahead,
it.
Ray. No, you
All of
open
it.
the door. Go
Yeah,
for
let's
it.
do
Oh,
it.
shit.
Walk
Okay.
through there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hold on.
Go for it.
Let me change
Ready.
his. Let me change his Zoom name to.
Gonna change his.
Oh,
Check
Let
all
me
your
see it
inner
when I have to
Kenku,
change
Ray.
it. There we go.
Hey!
Hello, everybody. You can find me on Instagram or as Zivo G. I am Zivo, aka Alex.
I have spiky red hair.
Yeah, and like
Hello, everybody. Look at it.
SoCal life, you know, like
Beat me to it. I was totally
I need
gonna do
my
that
wine
too.
glass.
you're never too far away
Have
from
you
I
a
seen
need a
my
beach.
wine glass?
Like you've got OB, you've got Huntington Beach, you've
I
got
saw
the-
Brennan Lee Mulligan this weekend.
Laguna.
Sometimes I go to
And
even
Lou
like
Wilson.
This, just so everyone knows, this is why I was the only one allowed to play Kenku during this campaign.
yeah, right.
hey, did you know San Diego means the Diego?
He doesn't even live there.
It doesn't even mean. Can we please?
All right. He's gonna hate this. This is gonna be great. Anyway.
Okay.
Oh,
Anyway,
Bill.
let's close out tonight.
Yeah.
Jacob, let's hand it over to you for the exits.
You didn't say where you can be found, Bill.
Yeah, I told
You
him
didn't.
on Twitter.
Okay, that's right. All right, never mind.
Yeah, we're good.
So anyway, as per usual, as we try to attempt to have plan A, which is get the fuck out of here. I'd like to remind you of a few truths on the Amphitheater. By the way, there's a shirt that says these things, so nowhere.com. You should also buy some Amphitheater merch, which we don't do a great enough job of telling you that we have merch. Anyway, Black Lives Matter. Stop AAPI hate. Trans rights are motherfucking human rights. If you don't have a uterus, you don't get to tell people with uteruses what to do with theirs. It's none of your fucking business. Stay in your fucking lane. Climate change is real. Read comments because of the reason why movies are any good right now. What's another? There's another one that I added recently that I forgot. I'm running out of lists that I have in my memory. Anyway, as per usual, as always, make sure that you have the opportunity to choose love. Oh, that's another thing. Obviously, it's a very climactic day today in the United States, and a lot of people are upset. Don't forget to take care of yourself. It's important. Self-care is badass, and so are you. So thank you so much. I think, unless there are any objections, we'll go raid our buddy Zilzaddy, friend of the show. Haven't hung out with that dude in a hot minute, and always doing some pretty damn good content over there. They're probably playing some D&D over there. I don't know why I put in the wrong command. Which is weird. I'm clearly on my A game today for sure. So yeah, we're gonna go raid our buddy Zilzaddy, who's knowing what I know probably plays some D&D, but I don't know for sure. Anything else, Bill, on the way out?
That is a negative for me. Yeah, I just want to reiterate: take care of yourselves, and as much as you can, enjoy life and enjoy each other.
Indeed, and don't forget to follow 6Alex on Twitter. Good night, everybody. Zero RPG.
Love everybody, but also follow Alex.
We're out.